Welcome back, everybody. Terrell and Nadia here, ATG, as we talk about the 2023 PlayStation Showcase that we just got today. It's been a while since PlayStation has showed us anything really since like before the PlayStation 5 came out. Um, Nadia here had the opportunity to get one of the exclusive in theater screenings. How was that experience for you?
Well, that was like previous when they did The Last of Us 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
I'm like, I miss those experiences.
the last one I went to when we actually went to a movie theater where they did like the PlayStation whatever it is. It was like right when the PlayStation 4 was coming out and Destiny and all that stuff like that, and then we were showing off all that stuff. It's been about two and a half years, we would say about 3 years, not a complete full 3 years, and PlayStation's been kind of slow rolling. I would say this entire generation has kind of been slow rolling about like certain games coming out, stuff like that. I really feel like we haven't really entered that era of next gen for this current console. We're still kind of pulling off the back of the PS4 and like the Xbox One. Like I said, it's certain games, but not everything. Um, but yeah, we got the showcase today. Like I said, after hearing all these rumors all week and hearing everything that we are going to potentially get. I mean, we knew we were going to see some Spider Man. We knew we were going to see XYZ. But yeah, just before we even get into the games, like, what was just your overall, just kind of feeling of excitement going into this and what you were expecting to see?
I mean, I was super hyped because they kind of promoted this to be the big one,
Yeah, this
and it fell super flat. Because I feel like we've been getting these like every couple months now,
right.
and I don't know, I kind of miss like the E3 days where it was like huge and like so
Yeah,
many big announcements, and like we just couldn't wait for it. And I don't know, this was kind of underwhelming for me. There wasn't enough gameplay. It was a lot
yeah.
of like cinematic like trailers, and I don't know, it's pretty underwhelming as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, ever since like you said E3, the days of E3, and I mean, if we being honest, what really killed E3, if I'm being honest, was Nintendo with them directs. Uh, they came out and was like, we don't need to be here. Here's a clip. Here's everything we got coming out. And when Nintendo says something's coming out, it comes out, and it usually comes out within that year.
Sometimes.
That's what they like about them. Like they don't have a lot of power under the hood when it comes to their system, but they games deliver. It's rare that you'll hear like, man, a Nintendo game was trash or XYZ. Like they usually take their time with their games, and their presentations are really good because they do like you said, like 3 or 4 directs a year. Because now we get these PlayStation Direct, play showcases, we get the Xbox shows or whatever stuff like that. So everybody now is doing their own show. Ubisoft, like, to the point, the only real E3 is the Summer Games Fest or whatever that, or the Video Game Awards that we really get in the Summer Games Fest, which is replacement for E3 now. But yeah, I didn't even know PlayStation had a new president. This new guy just came out at the beginning of the showcase. I'm like, who's this guy? Uh, but they dive us right in, and we get a little clip show. First game that we see is Fair Game, which looks like I thought it was gonna be Watch Dogs 3 for a second. Like the way it came on.
Oh,
So
that was a cyberpunk looking one, right? With the tip.
yeah, yeah, first game. This is what is this? It's new PlayStation acquired studio, Haven Studios is the new game coming out them. And like you said, this is a CGI trailer. You would think in 2023 we would be kind of done with CGI trailers and we would get like a good mix. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but we would get like a good mix of gameplay to CGI. But teasing us adults with trailers doesn't work like that anymore. We need to know what we're working with. There's been too many bombs, Anthem, that we've seen with CGI trailers, and the game comes out and we have absolutely no idea. Just looking at this, were you feeling this at all?
I'm like, it was an hour long, and the only part where I was like, oh my god, was probably like the last 10 minutes where we got the
Yeah,
Spider
same.
Man gameplay.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just missed the days where it was like two, three, four, five bangers, and we're just like freaking out. Like,
and
I
they were
can't
coming out
wait.
like the month after they showed
Yeah,
it.
like I miss those days. Like I was excited to hear about the Metal Gear, but it's just a remake. And then I don't know. what the status is with Kojima, if he's ever coming
That's
back or not. But
that's something that I was thinking too, because like I know he has like a studio under PlayStation, or he has his own studio, but he's working with PlayStation exclusively. So I wonder with this being with Metal Gear being um a exclusive, will this be that they've somehow managed to snatch back Metal Gear from Konami, who's been holding it in a chokehold for the last couple of years. So look, let's do it like this, right? What, instead of us going through pretty much everything, because not everything was worth the mention. What were, out of this entire showcase, what were like the top three that you foresee for sure see yourself getting?
Spider-Man, I don't have VR. I have PS5, but I don't have VR. But I'm a horror freak. Like Resident Evil's my shit. So I was like, maybe I'll get a VR too for that. But aside from that, that Phantom Blade looks kind of
That looks
interesting.
amazing. Yeah,
I like samurai stuff, so I was like, it looks kind of cool. It's like a sword-based combat. So I thought that looked pretty interesting. And then Alan Wake 2.
which is not an exclusive.
Pretty
That is
cool.
a multi-platform.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they decided to show that, because that was definitely a in-house like Microsoft thing first, and then
Oh yeah, I think it's PS5 and Windows PC, October 17th.
yeah. So I just, like I said, without even going through all these specifically, they showed Fair Game, Helldivers, which I thought was Starship Troopers for a second. Immortals of Avium, another CG trailer, basically showing nothing. Ghost Runner 2, I don't even remember the first one. Did anybody play it? Nobody's talked about that game at all. Phantom Blade Zero, which looks freaking amazing. That actually had a lot of gameplay. We're at the stage of gaming where it's really hard to see the transition between the two, but this probably had the most gameplay, this and Spider-Man, out of the entire showcase. That was actually worth looking at. Sword of the Sea, not really too much there. That's made by the people who did the Journey games, early PS4 stuff. Talos Principle 2, Neva, Foam Stars by Square Enix. I'm not sure if you really got a good look at that. That was kind of a Splatoon clone. If you've played Splatoon before on the Switch, yeah, it's just pretty much 3-on-3. You're shooting bubbles at each other. It was almost eerily similar to that game. Surprised Nintendo's probably gonna have a whole bit after this. The Plucky Squire. That actually, the concept of that was really interesting. Being able to like leave the book world to like, I guess, the pseudo real world, and like and different things. That one probably had my interest definitely during the showcase. But again, this is not a lot of. This is like 2024 game. I feel like if you do showcases like this, it should be games that's directly going to be within the same year the system's coming out. I don't want to hear nothing about 2025, 2024, but that's coming out.
And
Tear down.
Assassin's Creed, that's supposed to take place before the Vikings. Is that what they were
I
saying?
don't know. It almost seems like they're kind of doing a complete reboot. If I'm being honest, seems like they kind of get away from the Animus stuff and kind of do something else, but it's not enough there to really say anything. But we know what's coming out this year, because Assassin's Creed has had what, like a year or two off since we've had the last.
Yeah. Wait, maybe more.
Yeah, Vikings came. So
Because I got Vikings
2020, right?
Because I got the PS5 when it dropped. I think they said 3 years. I was like, there's no freaking way. It's been 3 years.
It's definitely been 3 years. Yeah.
I'm like, what? So Assassin's Creed I have on the 4s. Like, I think it was right when the 5 dropped. I can't remember, to be honest.
And that's what I'm talking about right there. Like, we were still in that era of, this is still a game that's on PS4, but it's like a higher whatever on the PS5. So I feel like maybe this year's for sure is where we really start to see the PS5's power. Like, we start to see more of like what it can do, and not just build a better PS4 game on the 5. You know what I mean? And so we know we're getting this Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater remake. I wonder if they're going to recast entirely, like as far as voices, because then, be cool if we can bring back David Hayter and the crew and everybody that's involved with that game. Definitely a good choice to pick that one, because it's kind of in between nothing, and it's also a prequel. But like you just mentioned, like how the whole thing with Kojima is, how that's going to get handled. Because if this comes back and it's cool, oh no, Konami's name is definitely on it. So we'll see what
we'll see what happens.
this Tower of Agazaba, this looks like a Breath of the Wild Zelda clone here too. Looks pretty good. Don't get me wrong. It looks pretty good. Top of my list is Final Fantasy 16. I don't care about anything else on this list. And it's actually a game that's actually coming out on June 22nd.
Oh shit.
This got me hyped. Plenty of gameplay there. It looks amazing. I was just talking to Najee. It was like my biggest issue with the last one, 15, was that it lacked story. The gameplay was there, but this one looks like it's making up a lot of the story. The cutscenes are back because there was not really that many cutscenes in the last one, and that really just and it was also a PlayStation exclusive too. Matter of fact, it is still a PlayStation exclusive for a while. But it just didn't feel worth it. I don't know if you like the Final Fantasy games at all.
I probably haven't touched one since PS1 or 2, to be honest.
Okay.
It's not really my cup of tea.
RPGs. Alan Wake, like you said, that's coming out October 17th. Man, I feel like they've been talking about that for a long.
Oh, wow, it's been what?
20 years, if not longer.
2010.
Was it 2010?
I think it was 2010.
It feels like early Xbox 360. That game. They've been talking about that game for a long time. Like, I feel like this has been talked about probably just as long as like Half-Life 3. Yeah, and it's actually coming out, so I'm surprised. It looks good. I'm
surprised we didn't get more Silent Hill footage. That's what I wanted.
Did they show Silent Hill? Did I miss that?
The Silent Hill remake, they showed it at the last showcase.
And we just forgot about it like we were supposed to forget, right?
So I was like, where? I wish that's kind of what I was hoping to see more of.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, like, since how we've been on this whole rebuild Resident Evil train, and all of them have been remade so far. So Silent Hill is the next best bet. But yeah, I'm going to look back into it.
They announced at that showcase, they announced a remake and a couple of other games. They were like, I'm trying to remember. I got to recall. This was months ago. I think this was back in like November.
Oh god,
this was a minute ago, but they had a few announcements, so I wish they would have did more at this.
So we need more horror games, what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Assassin's Creed Mirage, Revenant Hill, Dragon's Dogma 2 is coming. Again, pretty much nothing. Another CG trailer, a little minimal game, no gameplay. Resident Evil 4 in the VR. I'm gonna pass on that because I don't need to be peeing on myself in VR.
Terrifying.
Yeah, what was it? Resident Evil 7 when they first started doing that? No.
Village.
No, Village.
I mean, not Village. Biohazard.
Yeah, where you in the house with the family. I'm a pass. I don't need to play those games in VR, man. Marathon, Concord, Gran Turismo, which they just showed off the trailer for the movie, which was we playing games. They are introducing the new Gran Turismo game because whatever. And then they announced they got a handheld streaming device to link to the PS5 just randomly during the showcase, and a set of earbuds that's probably going to be overpriced. What I feel like it's you can use any device to do streaming to your PS5. I don't really see the need for this. If it's less than $100, maybe. And of course Spider-Man 2, which is the thing that we all want to talk about.
So you can play in Queens, which is so dope.
Oh my goodness. So now we know for sure that Kraven is going to be the villain. On top, so we can get another dual villain. We'll get Kraven and we'll get Venom. We're gonna get Spidey in the Venom suit. And we also get like a ton. It's like a 12-minute trailer, so we get like a ton of gameplay. We get an entire scene.
Peter and Miles.
What did you think about the entire gameplay of this? Like, because it was pretty freaking flawless. Like when they introduced Spider-Man 1, that scene where like the crane and all that stuff is falling in the first one. What did you think about this whole scene? And like, just because I think people wanted this to be co-op too, they thought it was going to be co-op, and then that got debunked like yesterday. So
me and my boyfriend were talking about that though. We were like, I was like, co-op and Spidey, and then we were like, yeah, imagine playing like as Spider-Man and playing as Miles. And I was like, that might actually be pretty fun, but I don't know, because like I still haven't tried Gotham Knights yet, so I can't completely judge because that game is so like up in the air. But I don't know. That might have been like a slippery slope, and I feel like don't fix what's not broken.
Right.
So I don't know, because I think the Spider-Man games are like absolutely amazing, and the fact that how it's progressed, because like I always say they have to give props to the Arkham universe.
Oh, for sure.
like that this definitely exists because of that. But I don't know if you remember the old Spider-Man games back in the day. I think this is like PS2, where you couldn't go like to the ground, like you
Oh
would
yeah,
die, like it was just gray space, like
yeah.
you couldn't go down. So just seeing like the progression this game has made, I'm like, oh man, I'm blown away. I cannot wait.
I mean, they've all but mastered the swinging system at this point.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
think there's any way to make that more perfect other than putting yourself in Spider-Man as yourself. You know what I mean? Like, but we got a better idea of where the story is going to be. I
Venom
don't.
looks better. Literally, I was talking to one of my followers. I was like, Venom looks better in this than in the Venom movie.
Yeah, don't get me started on that. I'm just so happy, man. Like this is even coming. This first of all, it's coming out this year. The third year of PlayStation, and it's coming out fall. They're keeping that vague, so hopefully we get it. The last time the first one came out like around September, so hopefully we get this around September, like the same time frame. But like I said, we get a better idea of the story of this. I don't know if you had any of the free comic book day stuff, but they had a comic that ties into the story of like where this game came out. And like it's 6 months later, as you can see from the game, Miles has like an incredible handle on his powers. You see by the way he moves, how comfortable he is just being Spider-Man, just like the team up. And this is probably like the middle of the game or something like that for this, but it looks absolutely incredible. Like the seamless transition between cutscenes and gameplay is absolutely flawless. And this, I'm like, okay, at what point? And then the switch between Miles and Peter. I remember in Grand Theft Auto, we're talking about Grand Theft Auto 5. Like this, how you had to like load all the way into the other character. Like it's like an instant switch, and Miles is like halfway across the city.
Yeah, it's gonna be so sick.
I'm all but excited. I can already see probably Sony probably putting out, or PlayStation putting out like Spider-Man consoles like they did for the fourth one. I'm sorry, for PS4, the Pro. And what else we got coming out for this? But this is definitely the top of my list, and I can't wait to see what they do with this, where this goes story wise, how Venom is going to play in this.
Craven.
It's just so much. But overall, just the showcase itself. I mean, like 3 years into the PS5, you got it day one, I got it day one. Do you feel like your money's been well spent so far?
I don't know. It's like it could also be like I'm not buying as many games as I used to. So we'll break it down into a couple things. Games back then like were a little bit cheaper and it wasn't so easily like accessible.
Right.
So it was kind of like, like you'll go to GameStop or you'll go to Best Buy or like whatever game store and like pick up your games. Now we have digital, so you can literally just order it. Some games also get physical copy, but a lot like if I can't wait, I'll just order it.
Right.
But I feel like now, especially that they're more expensive, I'm like less likely to buy as many games. So I feel like especially with the PS5, like I'm very like particular with what games I'm getting. Like I want to make sure it's good first, especially with all like I guess like the drama with like Cyberpunk, even though like after the
They fixed
DLCs,
it.
yeah, even after the DLCs,
Yeah.
but it's like same thing with Gotham Knights. It's like first drop, you hear so many things and you're like, I don't want to buy it just yet. So I don't know. I'm not playing as many games as I was, but the games that I am playing, I'm loving on the 5, and like the load time is fucking, sorry for the language, but
No, it's fine.
amazing. Like, oh my god. Like I remember on my 4, like it would take me like a damn day, like to wait, like because all the games and like all the storage, having to constantly
Yeah.
delete something to make space, and then taking forever. The 5, it's like this. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's definitely a night and day difference. I turned my phone the other day. I'm like, my God,
Yeah.
why is the download speed so long? And before it was probably like lightning fast to me. Now
Yeah.
I'm like, is Sony doing this on purpose? Like, yeah, buy a PS5.
like the iPhone.
Yeah, right. I really feel like they doing it on purpose. Now, you said like you're not playing as many games. You said it's more so. Are you saying it's just the quality of games has declined, or it's more of a price factor for you now?
I think price factor is
Okay.
a major thing. And then like I was saying, like if a game like is not complete at first release, I'm like more reluctant to buy it.
And how do you know that now, though? You know what I mean? Like, because back in the day, it was just like you got what you got and you kept it moving. There was no DLC. That was whatever, you know, you just maybe you got a sequel game that was like the greatest hits edition or something like that with some extra stuff. But now it's just like, you know, you just assume that every game is fragmented and it's not the complete thing because they always are ways now to upgrade it or
And now they rely on DLCs. It's kind of like a money grab.
Nobody was saying that when Call of Duty was doing the season passes. Now the thing is what battle passes. So you do a battle pass every 3 months instead of a season pass, $50 for a year or whatever it is. Now I definitely get what you're saying as far as like price because you can't buy, or I buy every game, but you can't buy every game that comes out. But now you have stuff like Game Pass. You have the PlayStation Premium thing where you got access to an entire library. You pay one flat price, and then you have like a year subscription to all these games that you didn't want that you wanted to try or you always wanted to play. So now, like I said, I definitely get you. You know, $70 games now is pretty ridiculous. But yeah, overall, I mean, outside of Final Fantasy and Spider-Man for me, it's probably like the highlights of the 2023 showcase. I'm really getting tired of seeing these where, like, if the game isn't coming out immediately within next 3 months, I don't want to see it. Yeah, that's just me. But you said Spider-Man and Metal Gear was the highlights for you, and Blade, the Ghost Blade or whatever it was.
Yeah, since Ghost of Tsushima, I've kind of been on I want to try more summarize.
Yeah, there was a Ghost of Trauma or something like that. Samurai, something that came out a while ago. They were also advertising, and like nobody talked about it. But like you said, I was hoping to see a Ghost of Tsushima too, because that was also how long ago at this point? Like 2018, 2017 that they came out. I thought we would get a sequel. But,
it was like right on that gap, like
in between the transition.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's probably like 2018, 2019 or something like that. But overall, I'm gonna give it a B. Just because it was just too many CGI trailers and not enough gameplay for me to, and none of the dates are close enough for me to get excited.
I feel like it was a lot of like kiddie kind of games too.
Yeah, like, we got good games for the kids too. Everything can't be everything can't be a shoot to blow everybody.
I know, like I need more guns and.
Now let me ask. So there's also periodically been trailers kind of dropping before this even came out. They just dropped Mortal Kombat. Had they held that out for this, you feel like you would have been more excited for it, or like if they would have snuck this in there?
They should.
Mortal Kombat. But yeah, so overall, you just as far as this showcase goes, you feel like they could have did better.
I mean, if Spider-Man wasn't in it, I would have felt like I wasted an hour of my life.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna go back and watch that trailer again after this is done.
Like that was the only, like, oh, I need that game. Like I feel like the showcases have lost that magic.
Yes, I don't, like you said, I don't. Maybe it needs the crowd reaction. Maybe it needs an E3, like that a grand stage instead of like these pre-recorded videos. Maybe that's what's missing out of it, or maybe it's just we're older now and we have certain expectations of what we want to see, and we just don't get excited about things like that. Games like that we used to.
And I feel like too, like a lot of the games that have too much hype and expectation, the like initial release not doing so well.
Right.
It's kind of it's nothing on the developers. Like I'd rather wait longer for an amazing game. Like say, like if we get a Last of Us 3, I'll wait 10 years. Because I know
10 years.
Or not 10, but I know like how beautiful and amazing that game is. So it's like I don't mind waiting. But some people like are too impatient and like the developers will rush to put out an incomplete game and then it's not going to do well. So it's kind of like I'd rather wait.
I don't even think that has anything to do with fans. That's more of a shareholder and money situation. You know what I mean? Like that's why these games, like, they don't have like specific dates. They'll say Q1, Q2 or fall, because like they have to make sure they actually have a reasonable time frame to release this and market it, and pre-orders and stuff like that. So I can get why they do that. Is, like you said, it's not on the developers. It's more so on the people that's backing them money wise. Okay, when you releasing this, when we gonna make our money back? X, Y, Z. So once we kind of get past that, I think we're at the point now where they're starting to see like, oh yeah, okay, we might need to keep this in the oven for another year, 3 more months, and then because it was something that just came out, and they gave it more time, and it still came out kind of and I can't even remember what game it was. It just dropped too, but
I feel like another example too is like Days Gone. Like I did enjoy it, but I feel like that was a game where like during the I'm trying to remember where that came out. I don't know if it was at
it
that
was a
PlayStation.
lot of games that was coming out at that time when that
But
came out.
that time it was like a lot of it, like
Yeah.
new games and like exciting games. Because I remember I was like, oh my god, that's like World War Z type ish. It's gonna
Right.
be phenomenal. Like I don't know. I feel like I haven't really had that crazy excitement aside from games I already love. So say like Spider Man, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, the re release of Dead Space. Like those are all titles I already know are good, so I'm already excited. But like new stuff, I don't know. It's kind of been like
It's hard to trust new IP, man.
in the air.
Yeah, it's very hard to trust new IP, and I think that's what it is too. Like we kind of just used to disappointment at this point. Like just like I said, like Anthem, and it seems to be games that's like have this grand scale. Like, oh man, you're gonna be able to do X, Y, Z. That game that what was it? It was like Redfall that just bombed on Xbox, but you ain't paying nothing but a subscription price. But it's games like that that's like that promise like this big world and what you could do, and all of a sudden it's an issue. Cyberpunk, Anthem, and Cyberpunk fixed it, but too little, too late. But then the anime kind of sparked that back in interest, and they made a bunch of money. So, but yeah, other than that, like 2023 showcase, PlayStation, I guess we can do better out here. What was our $500 worth to spend? Let us know. We both are day one adopters. I don't feel like I wasted my money. I feel like I got some good games that I wanted to play out of it.
Oh yeah, because imagine if we didn't get like that first pre-order, we would have had to wait like 3 years.
Yeah, they didn't start coming out until like early this year. Like now you can finally walk into your Walmart or your Target and it's just sitting there. But yeah, I'm glad I know now. Any final thoughts on that 2023 showcase?
I'm just wondering what's next in terms of like gaming. Like I guess I kind of look at this the same way I look at conventions. Like I love San Diego Comic-Con. It's my favorite. I love that all the studios typically go there.
Right.
When they did what was it called? The DC fandom. It was super fun because we were in COVID.
Right.
So we were home. But now that like we're back and like life is back kind of like back to normal, I still want San Diego to exist. I still want WB and I still want Marvel to go there. I don't want to have to just only choose like D23 and then choose Star Wars and then choose DC and then choose HBO and then choose a Game of Thrones con. Like I prefer like one thing. So when it comes to the gaming, I'm curious where this is gonna go because I remember one year I did that PlayStation in theater showcase. That same week I got to test a bunch of Xbox games and I got to go to the Nintendo store and test out some stuff. So it's like, I don't know, I feel like we're not getting that same experience.
The fan experience, yeah.
And I don't want to only just watch a showcase on TV for an hour that has only 15 minutes that I enjoyed. Like I miss being at conventions. I feel
like that would be that like you said, that on the floor experience of actually getting to try the game and stuff like that. I mean, at least release a demo or something after the show is over. They used to do that all the time back in the P3 and the P4 era.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the show's over. You can play the demo today. You don't get any of that now. Now it's just like, okay, yeah, it'll be out next year.
And even there used to be a Sony shop in New York. They closed down. I'm like, that was kind of sad.
Yeah, so Sony stopped doing a lot of stuff like that. I used to work for GameStop, and we used to have reps that used to come in, like PlayStation reps that would come in and bring us new demos and give us like free stuff all the time, stuff like that. I feel like they don't really get involved like that anymore. Nintendo is like the only one that really does it.
I don't even know if people remember, but at one point GameStop had a convention. I flew out to Vegas. They sent me to Vegas for some convention. This is probably like 8 years ago.
Oh, they still have it. They still have it.
That oh my god! Like I'm like I miss that stuff. Because
GameStop would get like the industry would pretty much bring GameStop in preview a lot of the stuff early. I forgot what it's called, but yeah, they I don't know if they're still doing it now, but they were still doing it up until like 2 or 3 years ago. So, but yeah, I definitely get what you're saying. Like, I feel like we're getting away from the fan experience now. Everything is just like, okay, let's just cut a trailer and let's hope they get excited. It's harder to kind of get excited about stuff if you don't really get a hands-on feel for a lot of the games.
And actually, to be honest, like when I covered Tribeca Games last year, there was a lot of games that, like independent games, that I loved that I may not have tried if I didn't get the experience of testing them out. So sometimes I feel like that also gets more like word of mouth, and people like, oh shit, like I tested this game out, this was sick, like try it.
Yeah, I feel like it costs nothing though to put a demo out online, but I get it. You know, if you don't want to put out an unfinished product and people have opinions about it, stuff like that, versus like going to E3 and you play it for like 5 minutes after waiting 3 hours in line to play a 2-minute demo. You know, but yeah, I definitely get it. But yeah, I mean, the era has changed, and I mean, luckily people are still buying PlayStations and still enjoying games. So, like I said, Street Fighter's coming out for me, Final Fantasy, Spider-Man. That's the 3 games right now that's on my list as far as PlayStation is concerned. Everything else, it just comes out when it comes out. I'm not pressed to wait for it. But other than that, 2023 showcase. Nadia said she wasn't really feeling it. she could have got more. She's happy she got Spider-Man. I'm happy about it. Like you said, and Nadia's right. Like we definitely do need to get back to having more of those in-person experiences. Like you said, now that COVID's over, having more, you know, figuring out something to be more interactive with the fans, other than, oh, here's a preview, go buy our game. I don't think that's not cutting it in 2023. So let us know in the comments what you think. Should we go back to the old school E3 in-person style, or you guys still feeling these showcases and, you know, the Nintendo Directs and Xbox, whatever it is? Are you feeling that? Are you tired of just CG trailers, or would you just prefer to see gameplay, or, you know, whatever? So let us know. Hit us up. I'll post like all our stuff in the thing, so you can follow us. But yeah, on that, PlayStation 2023 showcase, and we'll see you guys later. See.